out. So if you don't mind, why don't you tell us what's going on?
So what I'm seeing right now is that I think that the bottom has been reached for Donald Trump, or more to the point, depending on if you're a glass half empty or glass half full kind of person. I think that the spike in the polls that Hillary Clinton enjoyed after the Democratic convention and after the Kaiser conflub, though her numbers have begun to soften again. And so she is now down to a 4 to 5 point lead over Donald Trump. What I find interesting when I've been examining the numbers throughout the summer is that there's been a very tight range of percentages for each candidate. In other words, Hillary Clinton has typically been in the 43 to 44% range, and Donald Trump has been in the 37 to 39% range. The only time those numbers have really changed much is in the aftermath of each party's inertia is for a 5-point race. In addition, one of the things I'm noticing is that support for third-party candidates, which in this case would be Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate, and Jill Stein, who's the Green Party candidate, support for those third-party candidates I've noticed has been pretty consistent at about 12%. That to me is significant for a couple of reasons. Number one, people typically have early love affairs with third-party candidates, meaning early in the summer is when you have that spike of enthusiasm, and that spike is typically not self-sustaining. So if, let's pretend for a second that the support for the third-party candidates was steadily climbing from 10 to 12 to 14, et cetera, I would expect that that would be much more problematic for Trump and Clinton. But given that those numbers have been soft, get into September and beyond, and of course what that means is that people slowly but surely start to return to their partisan roots. The other thing that I think is crucial, besides the fact that I'm seeing about a 5-point lead for Hillary Clinton as the inertia, is the fact that she's built up a pretty decent lead in the Electoral College, over 270 electoral votes, which equals victory. One of the things that, it was a very interesting article I was reading by Nate Silver a couple weeks ago. He had mentioned that one of the things that was solidifying Hillary Clinton's lead in those swing states is that she's been doing a lot of advertising there, whereas Trump really hasn't. And of course, I'm talking about conventional TV and digital and so forth advertising, as opposed to the media. It's entirely possible, unless Trump starts to get in the game with regards to ad expenditures, that the saturation from the Clinton campaign from those swing states is starting to give her an impenetrable lead. Now, nothing in politics is concrete, but it is worth understanding, or for your listeners to appreciate rather, the presidential election is actually not that far. On September 9th, absentee ballots will be mailed out to North Carolina residents. And on September 23rd, in several states, early voting begins. So we're really talking about a contest that's not that far away from closure. And I've been reading, in addition to the fact that there's the early voting, that there has been a spike in absentee ballot applications, which suggests to me that people are wanting to get the election over with. So anyway, just some kind of summary points I have been seeing from the presidential race in this past week.
Sure.